right, that was St. James Infirmary and part of the Tex Talks History soundtrack and a hint of where we're going. But I'm going to drop a hot work meme. For those of you who know the old meme and several memes combined and a little bit of the day job because of the podcast, here's a work meme. Enjoy.
From the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me. I craved the strength and certainty of the missile. I aspired to the purity of the blessed missile. Your kind cling to your flesh, as though it will not decay and fail you. One day the crude biomass you call a temple will wither, and you will beg my kind to save you. But I am already saved, for the missile is immortal. Even in death I serve the missile guidance system.
Oh, even in death, we must serve the missile guidance system. All right, so we're going to play a little bit of this Battletech Advanced thing. You've seen me play this before, so it is noted. All right, let me move the Stream Deck thing over, and then I'm going to launch Battletech Advanced, and I'll just chat at you fine people as we sit here. Thank you, Mr. Train, as we sit here and have an evening. So the missile knows where it is, and you must look after the blessed missile. So let's go to the screen of, all right, we're going to calm down now, and everything's going to be all right. So calm your tits. Everything's cool. Everything is hunky-dory. Everything is fine. I hope everyone's having a good evening. I know a lot of people are going to the con. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of fun things. I know a lot of people are excited. This is a passionate community. And so I have been asked by a lot of people what I think will be in the Battletech boxes and stuff. And I will tell you, I have zero idea. They don't tell me shit. I'm not... I work in my realm and they work in theirs. Now, I could tell you what I want to see in a fucking box. I could come up with a lot of things I would like to see in the Battletech box. I'd love to see a box called like Second Chances. And all it was is just a bunch of rundown shit versions of mechs. And just call it a team called Compromise, the C team. Like, you know, you got a Vindicator that's kind of configured to be a heavy mech, but it isn't. And you've got, like, the Hunchback with the AC-10. You've got a Hollander, but it doesn't have a big gun. And you have a Jenner, but it's all lasers, but they're not good ones. And then you have, like, a Crab that can run at 130 kph. And it's a box called Look What I Found. Isn't that great? All right, let's go to the main screen here. But yeah, I do not go to cons. I'm not a people person. I'm a very private person. I kind of like my privacy and quiet, and I like my solitude, and I think that's fair. And I don't do crowds, and I can't really hide my presence unless I said nothing. Just walk around and gesture. That, or I could say I'm an imitator. I could always do that. I could just be like, yes, I imitate a D-rank YouTuber. I'd have taken time and hours out of my long and precious day. Many hours to cosplay is not only a misanthrope, but someone who can and will quote Charles Bukowski to describe any level of civilization. Yes, and I would die at a con. I would just be sick. I'm one of those people that I always end up finding the place where there are germs the size of turtles. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you go out there and, okay, compellence, and maneuvers, there's aggression, and things, okay, Well, I'm just going to move this over here and hope they brought some things I can take from them. Now, that swordsman's pretty fucking broken, which is expected. But if Ike had more pilots, damn it. I need to get back into the mech bay and try to repair this son of a bitch. All right, repair. Yes, it says it's complete. I'm sure it is. Now, the stinger is just broken. I know we fucked this thing the fuck up. So what we're going to do, is we're going to pretend like this isn't a problem because we're going to do the periphery solution, which is we're going to put this into storage. You can't? All right, well, we're going to scrap it, and now it's not a problem because I'm just going to replace it with a tank anyways. Now, what we need to do is make some more fucking money. And we need to get some more mech parts. And by mech parts, I mean, like, not crap. I need more good mechs. I do like the slow burn of this campaign. I wish it was in something like Unity, but, you know, shoot one hand, wishing the other. All right, so we got rid of that piece of crap. And we got some chaparrals. I think what I need to do next is some proper artillery, but I'm going to save here. Input name for this layout is the usual... All right, there we go. Okay, so here we go. Here's what we're going to do. Is we're going to... Okay, how meta should we be? Should we take ourselves? Like, man, we got Joseph J. Beeples and everything, but, I mean, me yelling at an older version of me that's a bit Tropic Thunder for my tastes. It's, yeah. Oh man, this is going to be interesting. So, let's see what we're doing here. And yeah, if it says I'm a little quiet, let me take a look at that. You can barely hear me. That's weird. How about now? Is that a little better? Let's go ahead and boost that and see if that's a little better, okay? We'll do that a little bit. Let's get through there and make sure that, you know, the sound levels are all good. Let's make sure everything's, you know, decent before we proceed a little further. How's that sound? So we'll get there. Better. Is this better? All we got to do is turn some things up and fuck with the right audio things. All right, there. Excellent. I think that ought to work. Louder. Okay, should be fine enough. But yeah, I would never play Disco Elysium for a Let's Play, no. I don't think that is a story that I should share. I think that is a very personal game, if any. I think that is absolutely a very personal game. All right, let's do main scene. Get that right back in there. And make sure we got it up there. So it just comes down to fucking with audio like everything. But I'm not trying to tell people, you know, like, I disagree with your audio shit. Every time something updates, everything gets thrown to the wind, and then you have to rebuild it. And if you have a day job, heaven fucking help you. Oh, man. So how you fuckers doing? You guys doing good? You guys doing all right? You having fun? You guys looking for things? You guys looking for, you guys looking forward to the, what's going to be in the box? I don't know what they're going to drop for the Kickstarter. I've had a lot of people ask me, but I have no fucking idea. Ah, yes, I have hetzers and a scimitar. I have the means of my own destruction, you mean? If hyperbole in terms of power projection existed in a box, hetzer and scimitar would be side by side. All right. But I hope everyone's doing all right. Like, I hope one of you out there, because you want to hear something really interesting, is that I've been trying to, it's been very difficult for me to it's been very difficult for me to like wrap my head around, like, okay, let me put it. How many of you like have played in Discord with your friends and had like 5 or 10 people watch over your shoulder, right? Like, how many of you have had that happen? How many of you had like 5 or 10 people like breathe over your shoulder while you're playing a game you're really good at? I bet a lot of you have had that. A lot of you have had that like really weird sort of feeling. Well, imagine there's like 500 people watching over your shoulder, and they're not being rude, because my chat is not rude. Most of my chat is adults with jobs and, you know, a lot of things going on in their life, and most of them are quite witty and interesting and well read. But imagine 400 or 500 people standing behind you who occasionally rise in a simple chorus to celebrate the destruction of something with a mushroom cloud, and then again fall back quietly and politely, making comments on their favorite fruit or fruit-based pie. This is kind of a remarkable community. Just wanted to say that. It's kind of interesting. And 500 dudes here watching me, probably true. I would say this based on law of averages, based on my knowledge of my demographics, which I do not trust from YouTube, but I do trust from Spotify, Anchor, and many other things. My demographic is, out of every 50 people, 48 are male and 2 are female. On average, the people are from age 28 to 38. That's like my demographic is adults. But you know what is the craziest demographic out of all of you? And this is going to like make your brain melt. The average retention of a video on YouTube is something like 7 to 15 seconds because of shorts. People just idly watch things go flip-flop very quickly, and they pay no attention to, you know, anything. It just happens. On anything other than Tex Plays Battletech, my retention is 27 minutes. And on Tex Plays Battletech itself, it's 40 and change. So we are a very interesting and odd community of enthusiasts. Binary laser, go, gadget disappointment. God fucking damn it. You're older than the average demographic, hell. Don't worry, some people are elderly. I have very few young fans. Most of my fans are blue collar on the high end or white collar on the low end, and most of them have a history of working too hard. Oh, good God, says Big Red 40K. I'm sitting here drinking my tea, sir. I'm being a very well-behaved man. I am a very calm person. How do you miss with a pulse laser? You know, I had that thought myself. Now, let me tell you a story about the gun range, if I may. May I tell you a story about the gun range? I am sitting there at the gun range a year and some time ago. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at the target, and in the booth next to me is this magical laser. Now, lasers, as you know, are fairly straight because photons go in a straight fucking line. And the laser is straight. And the laser goes on the target next to me, and it's in the center of the target, and I watch the laser go up, and I watch the laser go down, and I watch the laser go up, and I watch the laser go down. And I'm like, all right, they're figuring out where that laser's pointing. And then I watch them pull the trigger, and a hole appears far outside of the target. And then I watch the laser leave the target and then come back. And then I watch that happen again, and I realize, regardless of where the laser is pointing, if you jerk your finger while anything is leaving the barrel, it will not go where you're pointing it. I think that this may be a case of perhaps some shaky hand or perhaps too much coffee type 2 instant. Lasers are an okay weapon. The problem is that even dirt can just make them stop working. It's like laser no like Wimdy because it's full of sand. I think the ultimate weapon would be like one of those Boston Dynamics dogs with an IR camera that was that you had like, you know, wired up to detect face recognition software that could detect eyeballs, and then you spray painted it Vanta black, released it at night with like stealth shoes on, and it would just go around with an ice pick stabbing people in the eyes who were sleeping. That would be the ultimate weapon. You could make that today in Minecraft. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, it depends on concepts of stuff like that, doesn't it? Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do, is I think the ultimate weapon is just a warhead. Now, I don't need to be accurate, but, you know, I don't need to be accurate at all when I just make the radius bigger. Oh, look at that. There you go. And yeah, it'd be like the metal dog in Fahrenheit 451, more or less. It's an old, horrifying idea, being chased by a tireless hound. Robot dogs are an old idea, and 40K stole police dogs from Fahrenheit 451. Cyber hounds. Stole it from Bradbury. A lot of people have forgotten that. They read Fahrenheit 451 and they go, wow, this seems like a 40K novel, and I scream inside. Scream. Alright, missile. Oh. Oh. That is adequate. I will take that. I will take that very much. Oh my god, I'm gonna run this down here. We're gonna have a good time. Let's see. I'm gonna see if this binary laser works. Oof. Oh man, that sounds good. I'm just gonna run this guy down here. See, what all you need to do is have the chaparral come up, and as Chappie comes up, gonna blat people. So Big Red 40K, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think's gonna be released at the con? They ain't told me shit. Well, they've said nice things like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I've been like, "I've been sick." And they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah," and that was about it. It's time to shoot some lasers at things. Okay, the UAC 5 is jammed because that's what it does. And hello, Diggs. Well, that's jammed. So we're gonna try to just ignore that. we're gonna do a little thing called Not My Problem and just keep shooting at this Owen so it leaves. Highlander 2C is coming. I always thought that the 2Cs were some of my favorite mechs, just because they were really quality remixes, and I actually talk about that a bit in the Hunchback episode, which is being worked on. By the way, recently, Diggs had a birthday, which, if you add all of his birthdays together, one of these birthdays he's going to age all at once. All of the birthdays will catch up like Dorian Gray. It'll just be like... I think the same thing's gonna happen to Keanu. He's gonna make one too many movies. He's gonna make one too many movies, and he's gonna be like, whoa, and then age into dust. I'm just wondering, and I'm not trying to suggest any course of action, but I know that the con is in 2 days. I'm just wondering if anyone from the BPL or Ox is going to go there. And I also want to know if anyone has a Knife Fight City shirt. Because if you guys could keep getting pictures with the devs of Battletech with Knife Fight City shirts on, and they ask about what that movie is, just be like, oh man, you haven't seen it? Just have fun with it. You know what I mean? When is the next Tex Needs a Vacation fundraiser? Sad thing is the last time that was done by Tuck Davion, I gave a lot of the money away. And I split a bunch of it with Mike because he needed it. And it was just, I'm not good at things. Yeah, just wear the KFC shirt. You know what I mean? And Big Red, good to see you, man. I'm glad you dropped by, and I'm glad you always have something fun to say. It's really nice to see people, you know, just making stuff and having a good time doing it. So thank you again. Now, I'm going to decide who dies today. The Raven I want, so I don't want to fuck it up too much. I'm going to let the binary laser do nothing. Oh, God. You know, it's one of those things when it comes down to binary lasers, I always swear they're great. And then I line the guns up. And I'm like, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be a good time. And then it isn't. Binary lasers and me is like my same history with me and KFC. Every time I've gotten it, I've been like, I will regret this. Here's my question. We've been talking about this in the BPL. We've been talking about this in the BPL about signs of the end times, and one of them is that the Double Down has returned. The KFC Double Down. Horrifying concept as that is. And we started to have a philosophical discussion on the matter of Double Down, because Double Down presumes that there is a bet or wager to win, or that there is perhaps some presumed, you know, like, what are you betting? I'm just... Oh, wow, that is amazing. Engine destroyed. Broken jaw. Well, yeah, but the engine blew up. I think the atoms are probably more of a issue, but good lord. Oh, God. I rented the Double Down. Now, Double Down is not as horrifying as McRib, which is just pork that's been put into a mold. It's just, you know, it's injected meat. That's a horrifying one. That's like something that exists in an MRE. Quote the Raven, Arrow 4. Come on. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Curses. Now, I do want to have the experience once of going to the Heart Attack Grill, having a cigarette, and like a butterfat sundae, and, you know, like the Heart Attack burger and all that. Just once in my life. Just to say I've had all the excess at once. But I've known people who do that every time they go to Vegas. They're like, I'm going to eat all of the things. And I'm like, there's also machine guns. You could go to a $200 restaurant, or you could run over something with a tank. It's the same price. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a crazy degenerate who likes explosions and running things over and fire, but I did kind of invent a fake god about burning things, so praise Zorg. But I think that, you know, everyone has their vices, you know, and Vegas is one of those places that has all the food sins, and it has all the porn sins, and it has all the gun sins, and yeah, sins. I do want to run stuff over with a tank and such, and I could probably do some of the fancy restaurants, like one, but yeah, we should do a BPL Vegas run. Like BPL Vegas, they would throw us the fuck out. All right, let's see if binary laser works. Yes, left leg destroyed. Dun 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 dun, ground. Well, now I'm going to give the boots to him medium style because he is on the floor. And, oh, no, hold on. We're going to go over here with our little chaparral. And we're just going to give this guy... Oh, another raven. That's neat. Well, it says I can't hit him, but I don't care. Yeah, I'm just going to put some owies on him. Wow, they're bringing up a lot of ravens. That's a 1X. That's very nice. If BPL takes over Vegas, we would have to hire people to just, like, burn evidence of shit that happened. All right, so I'm going to just kick this guy. We're going to give him the, there we go. It's super easy. It is very super easy to get to Vegas. It's almost like that's intentional. It's almost like it's very easy to get in to spend your money in there. It's very strange. Tuck Davion showed me this hilarious, he had actually gone through on his giant cross-country trip of seeing all the things in America and playing Battletech with everyone. He had actually gone to the Clown Motel outside of Tonopah. And, he'd gotten a shirt. And what mods? This is BTA 3062. Oh, what's that? Missile. I want the Raven. I want it. It's mine. That little beaky son of a bitch, I don't like. Oh man, this is gonna be a good time. Oh, the Mob Museum? There's a lot of really cool museums around Vegas. Like, if you like Fallout New Vegas, Vegas is pretty cool. If you like gambling, don't go there. You literally go anywhere else. What tea am I drinking? I am drinking a bit of the old Yorkshire Gold. We're having a good time. But no, Ravens are good. Ravens are one of the two Capellan designs I actually like, the other being the Vindicator. The Vindicator is a solid fucking mech that punches way above its weight limit. It's very, very, very potent. You just need to, yeah, you just need to have a... You just need to have a grandpa get in there and start yelling at people. Okay, Raven and Raven. Yeah, well, guess what? Nevermore. Oh, wow. Binary laser does do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm a tea drinker in the afternoon. I'm a coffee drinker in the morning. As for coffee, I am not particular on brand. In terms of region, Brazilian Santos. That is my favorite. And a light roast. Most people think that darker coffee equals stronger coffee. I hate to tell you this, but if you drink very, very dark coffee, you're drinking mostly carbon. You are drinking burned ashes, and it's very weak as shit coffee. If you want strong coffee, barely roast it. It will destroy none of the caffeine, and your eyes will dilate like crazy, and you can make very poor decisions very quickly. Yes, missile! Yeah, Brazilian light roaster, I like that. But, yeah, Brazilian Santos is probably my favorite coffee. I buy it by the 5-pound bag. Get the strong coffee. Alright, let's see. Now, they brought some light mechs, and I brought artillery. Now, let's see if they're artillery-proof. Oh, it appears not. It appears, in fact, they are not. It appears that explosions are the great equalizer. Uh-huh. I'll break him in two, he says. I'm not hard on birds in forests. The birds are in the way. Now, if you drink a lot of Cuban coffee, you're gonna poop. I'm just gonna say that. That's the outcome, and shit, it is what it is. Alright, I'm just gonna give a little bit of burn right there. I mean, I get people who love the dark roast, and they're like, ah, yes, the flavor. And I'm like, in the morning, I want my heartbeat faster because coffee. I'm not really into like, tannins at like 5 a.m. I'm like, I got shit to do at 5 a.m. Then again, I realize some people actually drink coffee like the coffee commercial, where they're like, they wake up and they cup the cup in their hands and they like lift it up and they're like, ah, coffee, and they like drink it and they do all that shit. And I'm more like, just fill the thing, drink the thing. Okay, flying to Vegas for me was $18, but is that first class? What's first class run? I'm sure it's first class for all of 8 minutes, and I'm sure it has shag carpeting, but it sounds... Vegas could be fun. I'm not a forest ranger. Oh, man. Alright. Point blank arrow 4 is the way to go, boys and girls. Just remember. Watch out! The best part of waking up is heart palpitations. Yeah, pretty much. They call me Old Shaky Pete on account of my teeth chattering when I talk. I think these ravens have realized that today is a bad day. Injury resisted. All right, I'm just gonna keep arrow 4ing ravens because I want their parts. Ah, yes. See, it does not matter how strong the pilot is. If you destroy the machine he sits in, he still has to shit his pants. Okay, it's a Raven 4L. Oh no, you shot a hole in a thing. That's fucking terrible. It did, Oh man, that's fucking awful. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. Is we're just gonna blow this guy up. Now I know he's got this fancy mech and stuff, but I'm just gonna punch him with the Panther. And melee is always fun. Especially when you follow it up with some bang boom. In the rear armor, quite effective. Time to lay down. The clown cannot honk if you disable his hand. Alright, there we go. A milk run, just as we expected, Commander. What's funny is we actually talk about a Raven, or we talk about a Capellan unit in the Hunchback episode, because I finished it, we finished the audio for it, which was agony, recording around my throat injury, but we actually managed to get it done. Ooh, is that a... never mind. Where's a good Raven? Where's a good fucking Raven? Ah! Alright, I'm sorry. I'm just having scram. Because I see the 3M, and I like that. Extremely fast scout is a nice idea, but... What stealth scout. Ooh, I can't afford stealth. Light scout. Recon and electronic warfare. Like I could afford... Alright, I'm just going to take some Raven parts. There we go. But yeah, we actually talk a bit about the interesting approaches of certain mechs in history, and we talk about a few units that are just known for being very unlucky. And just kind of a counterpoint to lucky number 7, where you have a mech that is lucky, and this guy that's a lunatic. And then you have the opposite of that, the people who have decent equipment, but just end up as the wrong people, the wrong time, with the wrong stuff, time and again, until they're just beat to shit, and they survive. And you talk about a lot of fun units in that, and one of those units is, of course, Capellan. And it gets interesting. Alright, so says that the hand is broken and the heat sinks are missing. So we're missing 2 heat sinks in this thing, which is fine. Let me put some heat sinks in there and repair all, validate, confirm. Good enough. Good enough. So we're just going to wait as we make a little bit of money and lose money now, son of a bitch. And has Professor Tex ever run into a Clan Goliath Scorpion Seeker? Alright, here's what I have to say, which is a weird point of contention. I am strangely canon, or rather not me, but the character is strangely canon. Their point of view is, of course, biased, which some people don't understand, but it is actually intentional bias. It is not intended to be like something glanced over or a mistake on my part, but rather the intentional bias of someone who lives in that universe and has certain feelings about certain things for certain reasons. And it's not to say that they're, right or wrong all the time, but they come at things from a certain point of view. What's kind of strange is I do have kind of a canon bit for his background, and I've kind of sprinkled bits and pieces of it. And I've just decided to somewhat show not tell. I don't want to be that guy who says original character, donut steal or whatever, but I would rather show people kind of the tiny little bits and pieces of a lived-in universe, and rather just let people somewhat write in their own head a lot of what they think their interpretation is somewhat of a continued shared experience. It's kind of been interesting. Let's see. This is going to cost a lot of money, but we can take more max. Now, what about repair and refit? Tech points, huh? Yep, repair scaffolding. We're going to put that in almost immediately. And then training modules? Mech. No. Nope. Tank control could be interesting, but let's get into the barracks and train some people. But I would rather just drop little pieces of stuff rather than say, here's the character, here's what they mean, and here's when they did this, here's when they did that, and I don't want to paint someone as anything big. I would rather just say, this is just a character. This is just a character in a place at a time. Yeah, I'll take multi-target just to be careful. Yeah.
Mech warrior training complete. Talk to me.
I just don't want to say that the professor is always right. He is a product of his time. He is definitely a product of pre-enduring clan invasion. It's one of those things of, if you look at somebody who was in a certain place during the Cold War, they have a very, 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 very peculiar sort of character about them. And so it's just kind of a nod to having someone who is out of place, someone who has been replaced by the changing of eras. It happens. It's bittersweet, but it's just something that's real. All right, let's see, chaparral. You know what? Let's just take our people down again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Once more with feeling. And I know battle armor can get, yeah, it is kind of funny, as you point out, Monkey Biz. Randolph Percival Checkers. I chose because I had to create a character that was a role-playing character, and I just said RPC role-playing character, Randolph P. Checkers. It was just something that sounded bombastic and silly from an age of steam. And it's a throwaway name. And like many names in Battletech, it's a nom de guerre. a lot of people have them. All right, here we go. When I speak quiet, it's a bit hard to hear me. Could be difficult. I've tried to turn things up as much as possible. How would I like the character to end? Ideally, I would say that perhaps that is not for me to choose. If I planned everything out, it wouldn't be an honest story, would it? Alright, so here we go. I'm just turning this up just a little bit. Okay. That is a weird fact that Randolph Checkers is more canonical than Duncan Fisher, and I don't think that should be correct. I think that he should be far more canonical, really. And I don't think in Glorious Combat, I never said that the character would, you know, I never said that the character was great at what he did. Just resilient. That is the only thing I have suggested. Just because someone has one arm and one eye and one leg doesn't mean that they were a mighty warrior. Just means they were unlucky once. But that's kind of how stories go. I mean, it's kind of weird to have heroes that are untouched. That's kind of one of those things that I always kind of weird out in fantasy settings where they say, oh, this is somebody who's this amazing hero, and they cleave people in half and all this stuff. And I'm like, wouldn't they be like by weight, you know, fucking scar tissue? Wouldn't they just sound terrible the whole time? Wouldn't they just walk around and look like something that was just harrowed? I don't know. It should look like expression of pain. They should look like the main character from Disco Elysium. Oh man. But no, he's not really a character of any importance. It's just to illustrate that there's a lot of people who, like, for instance, if you go look at the history of the French Foreign Legion, you will find a lot of people in it who come from all over the world and from very interesting backgrounds who just jump into adventure and do something different for a time. Adventure, misadventure, war, crazy chaos. And so it makes these people just really, I mean, God, speak to anyone who got out of the military, or got into the military, rather, during the War on Terror, just to get the fuck out of a small town. Just to get out of wherever they grew up. That's also a very common story. I think a lot of people, when they try to self-insert in Battletech, make kind of a big mistake by presuming that they're going to be, you know, some sort of great commander or leader or respected general or a special operative, but the world has plenty of people who shovel shit for a living and are at best so-so at it. It's one of those things where you need to really look at, when you write a character for these sorts of settings, I think that you need to ask, how do they get by? Like, how do they pay their fucking bills? Like, I understand that you've written this really amazing, you know, like, John Large McBig huge character who's just this tremendously large, larger than life, you know, persona that everyone likes, and every time he says stuff, it's the right stuff, and everyone claps, and he's brave, and he kills everyone, and he always fights 20 to 1 or whatever, but how does he make his bills, right? Or if he's so good, why haven't people tried to kill him yet? Like, you have to figure out the other side of that coin. Speaking of the other side of the coin, welcome to Missile, fuckface. Oh no, it hurt. It was right on the money. This is what we like to call a Hail Mary. I like it. But yeah, I think the common mech warrior spends most of his time, his or her time, sitting in a drop ship between the stars, playing an endless game of very bad poker. I think that they probably are more upset about the game of poker currently underway than anyone they have lost along the way. I think that you have this really interesting group of roving mercenaries and hardened warriors in the inner sphere and in the periphery that are just bonkers. The only people I think that would honestly be professional among deployments would be clanners, because they have an enforced homogenization of culture. Everyone else is just insane. And the clanners are insane, but it's like organized crazy. You know what I mean? It's that purposeful insanity. Not saying it's better, it's just organized. It's like, oh, it's got tabs and labels. Alright. There we go. Oh, hey, what's it going? And, oh, man. You lose. Fun times. Well, they're shooting at me. But I see that they're shooting at me from way over there. And they're having a bit of a, I don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot back. And we're going to have an Osprey? 55 tons? Why? He brought 3 medium lasers, a small laser, an AC-5 and LRM-10, and a partridge in a pear tree. Unfortunately, he didn't bring a real mech, so it's time to die. Yes. No, it's sad. It's time to put you out of your misery. Oh, I mean, Robert, most people in Battletech are just lunatic asylum. I mean, it's an industrialized war setting. You would see 100 planets, and you would see them all burn. Speaking of, I gotta do my part. The missile knows where it is, and the calculations will do their job. Alright, there goes that guy. Now, I'm just going to continue staying on, as they say, the high ground. And, yeah, I'm just going to shoot into this person who brought the wrong mech. Gotta just keep shooting at them. Now, they think that they're in cover, which is great, but trees are concealment, not cover. And I'm going to show them the fucking difference. Please, binary laser, do some magic. It did a thing. It did a thing. Binary laser, go. Oh, here he comes. He's got his whittle arms. Oh, he's just a whittle guy. Wow. Look at that. That is amazing. He brought his whittle arms. He's so cute. He brought his bath floaties because he's about to drown and drip. And by that I mean missiles. Like this one. Remember when you were in cover? You should have returned to that. Alright, let's just continue circling the circle of doom. Doom. Oh, and magic. That is some bad times. You know, I think belters are probably pretty sane. Yeah. I kind of dug that lady belter captain. I thought that was a really cool character. And the sad captain who died, the old pirate captain, he was probably my favorite belter. Uh-oh. Oh, man. It's funny, because these people are not Arrow 4 proof. And in a universe of Arrow 4, I mean, why not? Openly famous Polish people. I'd have to look in Battletech. Because there's a lot of really bizarre stuff in Battletech that is a really interesting kind of pastiche of culture. I don't know. There's a lot of really weird ones because they'll say, yes, it's French and English aristocracy. And I'm like, yeah, they get along like oil and water. Long old allies, the French and English. famous for their 100 years peace. And the field of friendship at Agincourt. Known for not holding grudges. Very, yeah. So there's some stuff where I go, I understand that they're hand waving, and that's fine, but and there's a lot of interesting things in Battletech that are just kind of okay, you got the Free Worlds League, which is essentially, as far as nations go, I know a lot of people say the Free Worlds League is Space America, and I'm like, no. Each planet can have a completely different government. So the Free Worlds League is more like the Imperium and Traveler, in which case you're like, welcome to Medieval Planet. Welcome to Medieval Planet 9, where we pay for everything with maple dollars. And you're like, that's insane. Well, it's his planet and has been for 1,000 years, so tell him no. You can't. It's one of those things where oh, look, I have enough to make an osprey. Okay. I did not want this mech. That's why I want to sell it. So I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to sell this piece of shit. I'll be like, hey, do you want a flappy arm son of a bitch? And they're going to say no. I'll be like, you son of a fucking... All right, fine. I'll just be a sad boy, I guess. You know, you should be able to sell these things. But no, the Free Worlds League is essentially a giant buffet. And it would be fine as a buffet. Everyone can kind of get what they want. But there is that son of a bitch every so often that goes up to their, where the chocolate fountain is and puts the pizza under it. And everyone in the restaurant just goes, and then the fist fight starts. It's just one of those things. So it is not a great place, but it is a place. All right, I'm gonna just sell this thing. Like, how much can I scrap the whole thing for? Whoa, it's actually worth an okay amount. I don't need another panther. I couldn't tell you what the inspiration for the Torion Concordat is with any sort of absolute knowledge. I would have to speak to all of the contributors, but I think everyone puts what they want into it. Tom made a whole dog at a buffet. He didn't bring a dog. Good Lord. I know Tom used to do the fancy dinners. Remember where he had the fancy dinners? He would go to that fancy place once a year and take a picture of this dinner he had that was sumptuous, like Wide Tom. He would take this picture of like this sumptuous dinner he had, and he's like, oh, the first course was exquisite. And the rest of us were just, what is this? So I went to this restaurant. It was delicious. But yeah, there are not like perfect states in Battletech. I know there's a lot of people who think that there are certain states in Battletech are like really good. But most of them are, like, not so great. But that just kind of happens with, oh, wow, Time Lord? It still shows him on the thing even though he's sick. You should be off my register. Be like, sir, please, don't show up to work if you're sick. I fucking hate that. Why not build the Raven? We'll get there. Now, here's the thing. I've also learned a few things about restaurants in general over my life. If I take a bunch of random meat and I add some random sauces and random vegetables and I stir it around with a stick in a pot while it is cooking, I have not done anything fancy. I have essentially Project Zomboid fooded myself. But that's it, right? I've done nothing fancy at all. However, if I go to a, quote, Mongolian barbecue, end quote, they will have a stranger apply the stick, and I can pay $40. Somehow, I think this is worth it. And every time I see a Mongolian barbecue, I go, ooh. I don't know why. I know it's a waste. I have that same thing. It's the same thing with movie popcorn. You know you shouldn't eat it. You know that butter is just spray. It's just like a coating. It's like hull coating. It comes out of like a vat. Doesn't matter. It makes you think of movies. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can't find some more ship parts. You're not paying for the food, you're paying for the experience. I want a guy in a t-shirt to beat a bunch of stuff that I selected on a hot skillet. I will pay 4 times what it's worth for this. And when you think about it, that kind of explains Benihana as a business. And God damn it, I actually miss Benihana. That was an awesome restaurant. I know all they do is just cook pretty okay food, hibachi, but there is some majesty in watching a man make a little volcano out of, oh my God, I'm going to ruin this guy's corn. Shit. My grandpa would be pissed. All right, we got to go this way. Nobody saw me step on the corn. Granddad would be really mad. We're investigating a corn blackout. Presuming this is about the subsidies. This is a very Van Zant mission. Gotta watch out for the corn bandits. The corn boys. They're coming to shuck us down. We gotta watch out for that. God, I miss Benihana. Like at Benihana, it's literally just, I would like some chicken, and I would like it cut into strips, and the guy puts the bare minimum of seasoning on it, but he beats the shit out of it with knives and makes it do gymnastics. And thus, it is fancy. And I know it's really not fancy, but I don't care. Because my brain wants it. And I think that is just how the brain works. It's, Brazilian steakhouses are the same fucking thing. They are goddamn majestic. Fogo de chão or any of those are, I could eat at a Brazilian steakhouse for like 3 hours. That would be the sad, sad state of anyone invading Van Zant. They're like, finally, we've captured the planet. Hand to us your greatest export. And they're like, corn? Or do you want, like, sorghum? They're like, don't you have any industrial goods? And like, oh, we make small arms. We have a very nice steel frame semi-automatic handgun. We make a few thousand of those a year. They're like, well, what about starship parts? And it's like, never seen it. Never seen it. And Van Zant, I made it up, and then they made it canon. So strangely enough, it's it's real in BattleTech. Never let your memes be dreams, I guess. Kind of weird, but Hot Pot is great. If you can, I'm just gonna say this out there, guys, if you can find a lady who knows how to make good soup, keep that one. That's a handy skill. Making good soup is a very handy skill. Soup is leftovers. You don't realize this, but someone who can make good soup is kind of important. And yeah, Van Zant is canon now. Guess that means I have to write a TRO. I'll just say not much happened. And then there'll be like 90 pages with like coupons and stuff. Like, sorry, there's not much history here. It's a very boring place. here's how to make pot roast, and then it's just a recipe book. Like I would if they let me write a TRO, I would put as many down-home recipes for like nanner bread and stuff in there. Like be like, all right, page 48, nanner bread recipe. It's kind of important. I would put all sorts of weird things in there, like all sorts of fun stuff. Like here's how to use the bayonet and the bipod to cut through a fence. Oh, I love St. Ives. I think St. Ives is fine. And I don't hate Capellans the people. I hate Capellans the state because of them seeing the people as quite literally slaves. That's usually my issue. Uh-oh. It's got to have a minute to think. There we go. I'm glad to see you guys. Hold tight. Bad guys coming in. Got it. Yeah, I think I would probably do a small town phone book idea for a TRO, where you just have a lot of weird things in the small town phone book. And their infantry and kit would probably be based off of the Texas Rangers. It's a lot of brush country. It's based off of Canton, Texas, which is Van Zandt County, Texas. If you ever want to know what Van Zandt's like, go to the Canton Trade Days, which is a very big trade event that's been going on for well over a century. And it's like a giant flea circus, and you can go buy ice cream and stuff. Do I think armor like that would be light battle armor? It could be. I think it just requires on, not really the technology, but its relative equivalence of armor. For instance, if you have something that looks medieval, but it stops a 45 bullet, you would say, well, that's equivalent protection to a PASGT or something, even though it's not the same. It's not as light. It doesn't have all the benefits of it, but it's interesting. So we could say that. But yeah, no, it's Van Zandt is literally anybody who ever grew up in the Midwest or Canada on the prairie. You go 2 stops off of the freeway in any direction, and there's a place like Van Zandt. It's just a strange place, like many others, but utterly forgettable. If Van Zandt is canon, that means the Kerensky napkin is canon, yes. If Van Zandt is canon and the Kerensky napkin is canon, that means Van Zandt has to be somewhere in the periphery. That's all that means. I know some people are going to say, does that mean he was XYZ? Yes, that's weird, but yeah, the Van Zandt TRO is probably going to be a lot of stuff about asymmetrical warfare and then recipes for how to turn like possum into a passable taco salad. All right. Yeah, I guess Stryker's just going to keep pointing out. Shotgun pogo stick contest is canon. Technically, I guess. Jesus Christ. I didn't think about that, Stryker. I had a bad idea earlier today. I'm sure the Van Zandt cookbook would probably be the best, worst thing we ever put together. It would be like, here's how to make moonshine. Yeah, they would not let me write that TRO. Here's how to make moonshine. Good old Van Zandt pine cone liquor. Oh man, this guy is getting the crossfire. Tumbleweed soup. Oof. Yeah, the Van Zandt TRO would have a bunch of very poor machines in it. It'd be like the M48A3. It's like, wait, why is there a 1968 refit of a... Alright. See like a picture of the Van Zandt Air Force and there's a B-36 there. You're like, what? Did someone just build one of those as a hobby? It's like some crazy enthusiast was like, I'm going to build an aeroplane from 800 years ago. I finally have the space to do it. If I could pick a neighbor, which would Van Zandt be close to? I'm not going to say because that would say where it's near. I've hinted, I've dropped hints, but I've never said explicitly. All right, here we go. All right, so defend buildings. 1 must survive. 3 remain. Uh-huh. Hiding behind a building, eh? Sounds like a coward's tactic. I think Van Zandt would not be a fun place to invade. I think it would just be one of those places where you would just get lost, and not in a fun way. Anyone who's ever been lost in the Midwest and gotten to a crossroads that just seems infinite, which leads to further and further and further and further and further crossroads, you'd be like, what is this? Why does this county road have like 8 digits on it? And you feel like you're driving slowly into an alternate dimension, which is filled with people who are also similarly lost and not willing to admit it. I think we've all been there. I was last in that same experience in a place called Pottawatomie County, Oklahoma. Okay, so they're going to hide behind the buildings and force me to kill them. But if you ever want to just see weird, you get into some places out there and you're like, is this the plains of infinite existence? Is this where all the corn comes from? Yes. Yes, it is. Alright, so they have a Phoenix Hawk, which would be worth tanking if it were any other mech in that tonnage. And then you have the guy in the back who overheated the Javelin. He's going to just blow up. I made a lot of references to a Shoney's, mainly because I ate at a Shoney's once, and I told the manager that I had never eaten food that bad before, and he invited me to, quote, do something about it. So, I've now talked shit about Shoney's for years. And I consider this challenge, worthy. Are there any spirits made from corn besides whiskey? Yes, a number of them. You check Wikipedia, you get a full list, but my favorite is called White Dog, which is essentially distillery-made moonshine. And it's basically just after the heads of the whiskey, and it's really, 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 really good. It has none of the barrel aging notes, but it's one of my favorite things. It's not White Lightning, which is from some guy, but White Dog. I do know that quite a few of the bourbon distilleries, especially Buffalo Trace, made a fantastic White Dog, and it's quite sweet. The problem is it does, well, Red Bull gives you 4-wheel drive. Corn whiskey, well, I fucked that up. No, Red Bull gives you wings, corn whiskey gives you 4-wheel drive. It puts you on the floor. It is not good stuff, because you're like, oh, I've had a little bit. I've had some, and then it just, like, reboot brain. You are done. You go from, I've had some whiskey, to, I think the world is wrong, in about 4 ounces. I mean, you gotta have the right music for that sort of bender. It's gotta be some heavy music. Like, you know the Alvin the Chipmunk sludgecore? That's what that's for. Corn whiskey gives you a tank. But yeah, it's strong. Yeah, let's look at that Javelin. See what's in that thing. Alright, so we got a Jenner here. Okay, Javelin. What in the cinnamon toast fuck is this guy on? All right, let's come down the mountain. Let's come down the mountain and give this guy some feels. Let's see what we have here. Wow! Look at this javelin. Look at this thing here. What a javelin, huh? Wow. Okay. This is like, this is definitely interesting. Well, time to make him a javelin. Yeah, you're not a hunchback. You ain't got swayback energy. It's time to die. That is a very hot mech. It is, I think he's gonna have a bad time. So we're gonna get that improved binary laser, which I'm gonna hope works. God, that thing is hot. All right, let's hit that Phoenix Hawk. There, ooh, fucking yes. That is the business. He fell down like I do. Oh, God. That is interesting. I've not seen one of those recently. I want to say the last time I saw one of those was in tabletop a long time ago. But, like, javelins are typically your SRM, LRM monkeys that run by, throw shit and pelt you, and then run. Like, they're great hit and fade dudes. To see one that's built for, like, run in and pelt, interesting but wrong. Well, there you go. How about you have some of that? Yep. Aww. Oh, fuck that guy. Here we go. So, let's run around here and pivot. We're gonna run around the side. We're gonna have a... And then we're gonna just aim at this guy here. Oh my sweet Jesus. It's time to meet him. Oh man. Yeah, Kintaro is another great mech for that. Kintaro is the equivalent of like in a kung fu movie where someone brings out a balisong, you know, and it's just like flip flip with a knife. You see a Kintaro, that's that moment. You're like, oh no. Someone's about to cut my tits off. It's a bad time. Every time you see like a Kintaro, you know you're either going to have a cavalry fight with a mech that's going to run at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you're going to have to basically Benny Hill chase this person across God's green creation, or it's going to run right at you at 140 kph because it has mask, and then it will just sandpaper you, and you die. It's going to be great. And I'm not sure if that would help or hurt the Third Succession Wars era. I try to keep my contributions to Battletech to a tiny little piece. I'm really not interested in trying to shape it more than anything. I happened upon parts of Battletech. I'm quite content to exist in that. Nothing more. But yeah, Kintaro's terrifying. Kintaro is one of those things that... And you don't have to hit the like button or anything, people. Like, don't worry about calls to do that. Don't worry about donations. You can't do that either because they're turned off. This isn't my job. I have a Patreon, but you know where that is. So I'm just glad you guys are showing up. This is really nice. And Arier, I'm glad you showed up. This is Battletech Advanced 3062, which is a little fancier. Which is to make up for me being a little dumber. I just finished some work. But yeah, it's a good mod. I find that it adds quite a bit to the game. It certainly adds a lot of layers of complexity to the game. Please, Raven? Yeah, okay. Confirm. Excellent. I'm going to bring this Raven online. Fuck yeah. Let's see, Phoenix Hawk, yeah, I'll scrap you. I don't want it. If only. Jenner, no thank you. Let's see, Javelin, no thank you. That Urban Mech can stay. This one, oh, Irby goes bananas. Fucking yes. Let's put you back together. But BT 3062, you can actually find the dude who makes it. You can find him over on his stream. You can just go into the Battletech 3062 wiki and you can find links to everything. But there's a lot of great information, and you can really tailor this or a Rogue Tech to be exactly what you want. This one is the less beefy of the two, and even then, it is. It's pretty good. But even on my computer, it does chug a bit. Okay, look, we got an Irby. So the secret to an Irby is you get into this little AC-10 shit. You're like, no. Just because you're small doesn't mean you're a pushover. So this needs to leave. That needs to leave. What else needs to come out? Speak to me, Irby. All right. Irby goes bananas. What are we going to do here? Small laser. No. We're going to remove that. And we're just going to put you over here. The Kaliyama AC-20. All right. Because there's no kill like fuck yourself. Do I have any ammunition for it? No. God damn it. Talk about champagne taste in beer pockets. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another round. And then I have a half ton. No. Maybe. Yeah. Fine. You can keep that little small laser. Just more ammo. Validate, confirm, good enough. Now this Raven, let's get under here. I want that AC-20 trash can. If not, I'm going to fill the fucker with missiles. It's, you think I'm not smart? I am dumb. But, oh man, it's the expensive one. Holy shit, is this an expensive Raven? XL engine, ferrofibrous, LRM-15? Alright, let me tell you something. When it comes down to battle mechs, if it has an LRM-15, which means not a 10 or a 20, that means that someone has paid extra to have an extra 5 for no reason. It is an expensive battle mech. It is a very, very expensive battle mech. Yeah, we need to make the Irby bad. That Raven's quite nice, and that's actually a really good Raven. Because you got small pulse lasers, you got really good armor. You've got a narc launcher, narc beacons, and everything else. So I can run this forward and actually ping targets for that Arrow 4 and make it done. What I need to do is get the cinnamon toast fuck out of this region, because I have stripped it of delicious resources. And I obviously need to go find more friends. Violent friends! Alright, we are here. And we're going to go to a planet that is only slightly scarier. I can't pronounce that. That's like a Rammstein song. Ich langis. You know, that's it just be like, you know, and be like, it's, yeah. See? Space is big. I love Caves of Cud. I have not played it in a while because I hear it keeps changing, and that scares me. I'm not good at that game. I get good enough to fold reality in like a taco, and then I die. Distress call. All right. Forward some pictures of the company cat. Morale increased by 1. Goddamn right. Sounds like I'm sad in space. Stand by for steganography. Then you just have the beeping sound as a cat picture slowly emerges. Use quantum entanglement to send cat pictures. Yeah, whenever you see stuff like that in the mech, whenever you see HAG-20s, whenever you see LRM-15s, whenever you see certain things, you go, this is expensive. This is very expensive. Is a long Tom Irby possible? If you believe it in your heart, anything is possible. I mean, we tried to buy Albania's Air Force. We even cut a commercial. They were like, fucking, they wouldn't listen. It was very unpleasant. That was nice. I said I would wear a shirt that said I love Albania. Oh, Inferno RL-20s. Well, yes. Yes, I think we will. Thank you very much. Reloading RL-15. You mean in... All right, never mind. But I think that's just called the missile launcher. Let's see. Half ton of ammo. Yep. I'm gonna buy. Wait, what is this? Cluster. Chemical laser. Crude SRM. Wow, that sounds fun. Ammo, high-ax weapons. Ugh. Nothing really here nice, which is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Oh well, let's go find some money and local government. No, we're not gonna do that. Where's something decent? Gunslingers. All right. Okay, so it says that we need tonnage restrictions to go fight some gunslingers. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Nope. All right, let's see. Safely transport? No. Payroll? Hit the facility and the payroll. Can do. No problem. Time to make money. Now, they tell you that you can bring all sorts of reasonable things, but why would you do that? All right, let's take this Irby instead of the Panther because he's funny. And I think that's really important to have some fun in war. Let's go to Lance B, and I will put the swordsman there, and I'll put me in it. Yay, that's meta. Go me! Do you think clanners would be good pet owners? I don't know. Depends on the clan. Like, I think that if you had to have an interaction with clanners, it depends on how the interaction is. If it's in a business environment, you know, I can think of a handful of clans that would be just fine if you talked business. Just fine, no problem. I think if you were in a fighting environment, you know, you would probably be on okay terms with, like, Wolf or maybe even Jade Falcon. And Jade Falcon's even crazy with banking. But if you want to, like, talk about just people who are normal bros, absolutely Ghost Bear. I mean, they fought a planet for ownership of the planet with football. That's pretty cool. They're like, all right, name your sport. And they're like, but we'll play the North American football. And they're like, agreed. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Something about the Iridani Light Horse? All right. I fought a bayou long, long ago. Well, time to rob a bank. But I think most clans would be fairly honorable in terms of interaction, so long as you weren't possessing something they wanted. Then I think that would be probably pretty shitty. You would have a bad time, and you would go, wow, what a terrible time. Because now you have to constantly fight people who, well, they're unpleasant to say the least. That and they're sore losers. They will be like, we admit defeat this time, Gadget. And then they come back, and you're like, son of a bitch. Just stop. Clan PetSmart. Yeah. All right, so we're going to run across this big old fucking open place. We're going to run. Oh, there we go. Can you heist in an Irby? Yeah. Now I get to yell at me. All right, me. Get in there, me. Who builds a bank on a planet full of mustard gas clouds? Well, welcome here to Mustard Gas Mutual, where no one will rob our bank because it's chock full of mustard gas in the lobby. And it shows like someone trying to rob the bank, and they're like, give me the and just fall down. We are protected by Phosgene 24/7. No one's robbed our bank. Oh, God. Our bank uses heavier than air gas to ensure the lobby is flooded at all times. Even the money is tear gas. It's one of those things. B for gas mask. I would bank with them. I don't think anyone would rob anything. You just go in there and you'd have to have like your suit on. Mustard Mutual. It's a gas. I think that's probably the best way of saying it. Alright, so we need to seize the payroll. As you all know, as an honorable combatant in Battletech, one of the best things you can do is make money. And to quote, what is it? To quote probably one of the greatest games ever. Think of it this way, kid. You get to keep all the money. What a great game. MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries is something we're thinking of actually playing on the Courtesy Flush. Mike is thinking of setting it all up with the HOTAS and shit. So I might actually do that as I first did it as a kid. You know, HOTAS, foot pedals, the full shebang. Oh, we have action. Pegasus, mate. It's a Pegasus. I don't think he's here to bank. Thank God I brought a Raven. Okay. Yeah, his sons of bitches. Okay, so we need to find out where this man lives, and then we need to, seize the payroll. Okay. Seizing the payroll. Uh-huh. Alright, I seem to have knocked on the bank's door. I seem to have Magistrata Mundanus to the bank. Oh, man. By the way, all of you guys who checked out the Mundanus on the podcast, I really appreciate it. That was fucking wild. I really appreciate how many people came up and they were like, this is insane. And I'm like, I know, right? And? Ah, man. Arrow 4 is sometimes useful against lighter stuff just because you're dropping grid square erasers if they land right. Uh-oh. It's a Saladin, which is a little heavier. Alright, it's time to make some... Oh! Alright, I brought a Panther with me so they can shoot at something else. When more Mundanus? Well, there's only 18 episodes of it. That's all we did. However, the next game is Traveler, which Depp is running. And it has a baller soundtrack. Depp chose an amazing soundtrack for Traveler. So that's the next one. Mike has yet another Star Trek in the works. For years, we've bugged Frank about the idea of Star War. Not Star Wars, Star War. Oh, yeah, I got him narked, so now I can use Arrow 4. Excellent. The Raven is helping. The Raven is doing its job. But yeah, I do have a sequel in mind for the Magistrata Mundanus. I just need to finish writing it. So yeah. As far as more Deltard Green, Depp has suggested that. Especially with the team of Zip Winchester and company having been... Well, Zip Winchester and company. Not the best people. What the fuck? Someone actually brought a Hollander? What? And it did something. Wow. Yeah, I did Insurgency Source back in the day. I thought it was okay. I know that it had a really strong following, but I found it to be just a bit, I don't know, hard to explain. Let's see. I just want the Pegasus to explode. And if you want a link to the Hail Cargonia song, I would say go check out Goat's SoundCloud or YouTube. He has both, and I have linked them below. Oh, come on. Yes, missiles. Excellent. Oh, man. All right, and we're going to do this. Yeah, Mike's everyone's Delta Green character was bonkers in that game. I mean, yeah, it was, I mean, Diggs played Alex Jones at one point. His first character melted. A pot wizard melted him. That is not an exaggeration. That is exactly what happened. Frank's character opened the Forbidden Book and ascended. He actually ascended to a plane of higher thought, but he definitely died. My character was cast into a chasm of infinite falling. Yeah, there was a lot of interesting things that happened in that game. I mean, yeah, the pot wizard was pretty bad. We did some bad things. We were not good operators. Let's see. Benedict Bainbridge Groves, the worst party member. And yet they put me in charge of talking to our poor handler. We aged him visibly every phone call. Hello! Yeah, they didn't like that at all. Alright, I'm just going to continue shooting. Okay, Irby is finally in range. Yeah, well, we had joked that Diggs' character had sent footage because we were constantly sending footage to our handler of what was going on. Like, oh my god, look at the giant thing, and we'd send it. So Vine was popular at the time of the setting of the game, and so we said that, you know, like Diggs' character had accidentally shot himself on Vine dying to the pot wizard, you know, and uploaded it. So it's like, oh man, do the skin melt, and that like becomes the planking or ice bucket challenge of its time. What a shot. Thank you, Irby. Holy fuck. He just lined that up and was like, aha. What the fuck, Irby? Holy wow. Amazing. Poor Pizzarelli. Poor our handler's name was Pizzarelli. An outsider art, don't worry, man. 900 plus viewers, 600 plus likes. That's reasonable. YouTube insists most of these people are robots and that they cannot click buttons. And YouTube is always right, so don't worry about it. Apparently, I'm supposed to rob a bank. Yeah, we were not a good group of people. Depp kept trying to hint that we were hungry, to suggest that we were being driven by violent acts and consumptive acts that were horrific and destructive to our soul and caustic. And so we kept saying we were hungry, and so our characters just kept going to Dairy Queen. And that became kind of our thing, was we would go to Dairy Queen as characters and read the menu and just be like, oh, well, yes, that thing that aged me terribly. I have a Butterfinger blast, you know, and have a good time. Just sitting there going like, oh yes, they're terrible about the pot wizard. Yes, I'll have some pralines in that one if you don't mind. Did not make things better. We were not good characters. And Delta Green is not a SWAT team RPG. Delta Green is a game about let's say that Delta Green is more a game about coincidence and getting things done, and in a very evil era. You know, I mean, just imagine if, you know, Cthulhu fucked around today and you had to sort Cthulhu out with the might of the U.S. government. That is Delta Green. It's an interesting game. It's a fantastic game, in fact. I really enjoy it. Fairly simple to run. Not a lot of huge books for it. So there's a very active, huge community, too. But yeah. Delta Green is a game about, you know, if you and your friend said, man, if I was the police, it's that. That is Delta Green. Alright, I'm going to steal this stuff up here, and they're not allowed to do anything. I'm just going to say this. When it comes down to stuff, like, I once met someone who had said that their entire experience in life prior to joining the military was Dairy Queen, and they felt that that had unprepared them for life. And I said that it had prepared them perfectly for life, for they understood what the civilizing effect of a Butterfinger blizzard was at a precise moment in someone's moment of crisis. They understand what ice cream is on a very hot day, and thus I think they would be fine in military service. They thought I was insane, but we all have our perspectives. Time to rob a bank. Okay, hold this location until we can grab the payroll crates. He's like, this says Bank of Money. I don't think it's real. Man, what is this, crack? We did not record anything for Delta Green. We only talked about it on the podcast afterward. It was Deb's first time running a game like that, and he didn't want to be, judged or anything by the Delta Green community as they try to figure things out. And so, in trying to do these things, just decided to run the game. And we had such a fun time. We kept notes and kind of knew what was going on. So we talked about it afterward as a group, just to kind of bullshit check each other in case someone's like, oh, I killed everyone and I was the best. And we all had points where we were all bad at the game. And that's fine. I'm not taking the Saladin. I'm taking the AC-20 ammo like a sir. But yeah, it's like, when it comes down to an RPG, it's never trust one person's point of view. Always be like, I need a source. I need other people there. I've seen a lot of RPG stories where someone's like, oh, this happened and I beat Strahd and everyone clapped because I read ahead. And I'm like, no, it's bring an RPG when I tell stagger stories, I have to bring Goat out because no one believes me when I tell stagger stories in RPGs. Stagger found a T-Rex on a planet in Dark Heresy, a very long campaign, found this fucking T-Rex and insisted on keeping it and raising it and getting it augmented with cybernetics and everything, and he named it Gobblebeast. And Gobblebeast, the T-Rex, the cybernetic T-Rex, was this thing he babied for like ever. And then we had to evacuate a ship at one point. And he had people go sacrifice themselves, people he needed, like vital NPCs, so Gobblebeast would survive. And then when we finally needed Gobblebeast, when he had finally trained it and everything else, and we were like, this is your moment, Gobblebeast, it just fucking keeled over and died of a fart attack, more or less, and did nothing. Fucking Gobblebeast. So every time Stagger brings up anything in an RPG, I'm like, fucking Gobblebeast. Like, I remember that in my head. I'm like, what a useless fucking thing from an RPG. Gobblebeast. Everyone has those moments. It was his baby. He loved Gobblebeast, but fuck Gobblebeast. Oh, wow. Look at all of this shit. This is way too many things. Lasers, ballistics, missiles, choices. Oh yeah, perfect targeting. I'll just avoid them moving. That sounds fun. Stagger gave this speech that was just like one of the most amazing speeches I ever heard in an RPG, and none of us were recording because we were all laughing too hard. But multiple of us were there and we can remember pieces of it. But we had gone to this planet that was this massive hive world. And they had this giant arena where we were going to have to fight, like a recreation of the Battle of Hell's Reach, basically. And so we all had like battle armor on that was supposed to look kind of like Space Marine battle armor, and they had a bunch of gangers and stuff that kind of looked like orcs, and it was kind of Byzantine and Roman in this giant arena we were fighting in. So Stagger's character is dressed up as a Space Marine, and Stagger's character is basically just a very low-functioning alcoholic and a psyker. And so Stagger's character has to give this speech, and Goat gives him the speech of the Battle of Hell's Reach. Stagger has a different speech in his head. And so, when he opens his mind and opens his mouth, Stagger flips a coin. And his speech comes out, and Stagger's speech is a collection of speeches. It is a collection of words. But I remember the opening line like it was yesterday, and it was, "Gentlemen, tonight we dine in concrete." That was the opening line of that speech. The rest of it was parts of, like King Henry V, and there was some Shakespeare. There was a part of it that was like a timeshare video where he was talking about, investing in yourself to build a better future and not letting go. And when it sounded like a baseball thing at one point, he's like, "When the going gets tough, the tough get going." And it was like 10 minutes of just insane, unpunctuated Stagger. And I only remember the first line clearly, which was, "Gentlemen, tonight we dine in concrete." So, there are always those moments. Stagger is a magic boy. Let's see. Mech bays. I need some mech bays so my mechs aren't crap, but I also need power systems so my people don't get zip-zap in the brain. Electricity doesn't belong in your fingertips. What was it Louis the Lightning Bug said? Fuck it. He did not say that. Boys and girls, please. By the way, if any of you are interested in joining a community, I know the BPL is a little hard to get into. It's not for everybody. But there is an open community that is called the Aux, or Auxiliary, which was a really interesting group of individuals and has its own community and fun things it does. So you can definitely check out any of the WBPL 76 streams Monday through Friday on Twitch, and you can find a link there. Or if any one of the mods would wish to link on the side, they may. If not, that's quite fine. I need to go to the store. I need more weapons. I need bigger challenges, because I finally managed to bully my way into missions where I can beat things. Favorite D&D setting? I don't know. I don't want to make Mr. Welch mad. Ravenloft was interesting. I know a lot of people loved Ravenloft. I thought Forgotten Realms was fine. I just really liked the Remembered Realms and also the Forgotten Realms. I enjoyed both of the realms. I know a lot of people only enjoyed one, really. Yeah, there's the link to the Aux. So the 925 people in chat, that is the Auxiliary. That is a place. That is a different place. That is the Legion has the Auxiliary, just like the Roman Legion had the Auxiliary. And it is a place. It is a fun place. Ooh, look. An SLDF facility on this world. Let's go over here and see if there's any things we can loot. It's time to loot things. Oh, we're going to go this way. We're going to just land and we're going to go over here and we're going to go make some money. Stagger's speech is a majestic thing, Frenchie. It's one of the most... It's one of those moments in RPGs where I was like, if I had recorded this, I would have had one of the funniest moments in RPGs ever in history. Like if I had recorded this. And then it was there and it was gone. And I like Shadowrun. I do like Shadowrun. The problem is that every edition of it fixes one thing and breaks two. And every edition of it has a different feeling as well. I fucking love Shadowrun as a setting. I mean, it's got a lot of fun stuff. And I've seen people play Shadowrun without magic. I've seen people play... Oh my god. Why is this? All right. Do you want to tune into the guest lecture? Guest lecture. I forgot this was in there. The sound is me cringing. I forgot this is in here. I did not intend to set on this course. Oh, God. All right, let me think. Let's, nope. I'm here. Thank you. Texas the following tags. No one listened. Well, you'll get over it. Or you'll use that sadness to write something really moving accidentally on something like the charger, and people ask if you're okay for months afterward. Anyways, here we go. All right. Look, I'm me, and it's okay to ignore me. I can ignore me. Don't worry about it. I'll come up with something else. Good Lord. No, don't worry. We're going to make our own field trip with blackjack and hookers. That and I want to get into some... What is a resupply truck? Ammo spammy. Okay, that's interesting. Here we go. I'm just going to sit here and... Yeah, no, I'm going to duck out of my stuff right there. Yeah, but... Here's what we're gonna do. But every Shadowrun community I know has basically one or two major fixes, if not 5,000 or 6,000. I know everyone. Like, okay, when we played Shadowrun with Goat, that was done with Chummer, and that was done with a lot of homebrew. That was just like homebrew city. And that's kind of the way to play Shadowrun, is you have to have somebody who really knows it, or somebody who's just willing to like tear it apart and play with it. I would really like to find an MRM. I know most people hate them. Snub-nosed PPC is all right. And I know, Greg, it's just one of those things where you sit there. It's one of those things where you sit there and you have that moment in an RPG and you're like, holy shit. Then you just realize it's there and it's not anything you can do it with. But I like the idea of people. I like Shadowrun as a setting. I would probably run it in D100. I would probably not mind running Shadowrun in any other setting at all. I think that it would be fine in any other set of set of controls. I mean, good Lord. D100 seems to be my jam, but yeah. The world needs more PPCs and less ER PPCs. The world needs more olive oil-based MREs. The world needs more light bulbs that flicker unexpectedly. It lets you know that it's dramatic. Now, when it comes down to like D&D, my favorite characters to play are characters that are incredibly stupid. I love playing Paladums. I played a dumb Paladin once in one of Dig's games, and people were just like... I remember I would say stuff that people had essentially come up with. Like, the party would come up with a solution for something, and then 30 seconds later, on purpose, I would repeat their thing to finish what they had said. It was just, you sit there and you're like, the party's like, all right, we're going to climb this mountain. We're going to drive the pitons up there. We're going to climb the mountain. We're just going to go up there. We're going to throw ropes down. We're going to do this at like under the moonlight so we can get up there. And then like after they've explained that and started climbing it, I'd be like, you know, if you use the ropes to climb the mountain, you might reach the top without anyone seeing you. And I say that and they're just like, yeah, Zachlin the Paladin. Bird on a rope. Not a smart character. It's what happens when you have like int 8. I've read the holy book more than once. I'm on my second go-through. Let's see. If she tries to slip, blah, blah, blah. All right. Yep. We got to kill some people. Don't worry about it. We got to kill some Federated Sons people. Don't worry. They'll be fine. Fed Sons are fine. There's plenty of them. But yeah, playing dumb characters is always great. Just be like, I'm afraid of doors. Sometimes you turn the knob and it doesn't open. This reminds me of a story. And you just play dumb person. Really fun. I had thought about in the evil game where I'm now playing a wizard just so I could bust out the Deckard Cain and, you know, do all that. But dumb characters are great. Yeah, dumb paladin's fantastic because if someone leaves like explosive runes, you can't read them. They're like, "What's it say, Zachlin? I can't tell you. It looks very fearsome. If only I knew a spell for light." Yeah, it's fun to play really dumb characters. I have a bag of halflings. When I open the bag, they come out and fight. And it's like, Zachlin, they need air. Ah, yes. I have a bag of corpses. Not a great character. Shut up, me. GURPS is one of those things where you're into GURPS or you ain't, but GURPS is one of those cool universal systems, and a lot of people give GURPS shit, but if you like Fallout, that is Fallout 1 and 2, you like GURPS. If you like Knights of the Old Republic, you like GURPS. These are the roots of these things, more or less, and yeah, GURPS is a good system, but you gotta play with it a little bit. GURPS is a lot of things. My God. There's a bushwhacker. There's a bushwhacker right up there. Alright, now the bushwhacker is in its native environment, which is outside of the cover that will keep it alive. And we can't spook the bushwhacker. We can't spook the bushwhacker. So let's just all hold. Let's not scare it. Okay? We can't scare the bushwhacker. Let's have a moment. Let's all right, let's look. I know we're all excited. It's just, let's breathe. I know everyone is okay. It sees what we're doing now. Okay. Ow. That's some of the ow. Stop it. That is very bad. That is very, very bad. How dare you? How dare you hurt? All right, that's it. All right, there's my back. Let's do this, you son of a bitch. Oh, a scimitar with LRMs. Nice tank. Does it come in a men's size? All right, let's do this. Oh, you shot a laser. Okay. Let's make this hurt. Okay, come on. Let's have a turn. Okay, some unknown vehicles. Are they missile-proof? No! No, they're not. Ow. Okay. Yep. Okay. Alright, this guy. Chocolate chip camo, so you know that guy's from the 80s. Here we go. Let's go ahead and see. Hunter, blah, blah. Alright. That's not great. That's not great. Well, you know what? That's good enough. Let him have it. Let's hit him. We'll just saturate the area a little bit. Let's let the enemy have its turn. And yeah, the mod is BTA 3062. Okay, the bushwhacker is coming out. Oh, yep. Ow. So the bushwhacker is actually a pretty tough mech. It is one of those things where people laugh at it. It's kind of one of those poster boy mechs that was kind of pushed for a while and then not a big deal, but it's actually a really decent machine. However, I'm going to hit with an arrow 4 and make it not so decent. So here we go.
Primary target damage, Commander.
All right, let's see. Praise be. Oh yeah. Let's just have some of this. Uh-oh. Exactly. Now, I know you have armor, but you don't have that much armor. Alright, we're gonna move the Raven over here. We're gonna move the Raven over here, and we're gonna try to hit this son of a bitch with all sorts of stuff. He is not gonna crack easy, so we need to bring up more firepower, which means it's time for Irby Goes Bananas. Irby, get up here. It's time to stand tall, brother. And long range? Nope. Not a thing. Not a thing. Not a thing, unfortunately. Okay, they're shooting back. Not so great. Not so great. Ow, ow, ow. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of back and forth with some missiles and missile-shaped things. So let's have some good. Uh-oh. Ow. What's going on now? What do we have? You're going to make some missiles for me? I really would appreciate if you didn't. Please don't do that. This UMR-60, sir, is made out of vintage, used, low mileage urban mechs. Extremely low mileage urban mechs. And I just want you to know that these low mileage urban mechs are, you know, a product of thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of battlefield experience. And if you assemble an urban mech from, of course, all of those hours and hours and hours of battlefield experience, you have something that is, of course, equal to all of that in terms of collected vintage metal. So its price is very okay. That's a lie. Let's get up here with the laser and do something. Shoot one. Zip. And please. One? No? Good. All right, something was done. Good job. What else do we have? Hunter 3RA. Huh? Ow. Uh-oh. Is there going to be a turn? There we go. Bracing for ground impact. What? What? Is this the movie The Core? Are they going to hack the planet? What's going on? All right, what do we got? Let's just keep hitting this son of a bitch. I'm going to get that Raven up there and do some damage. Structure exposed. Excellent. Panicked. Yes. Leave my mech. This mech is for me. He is coming forward. What? What a fancy person. You got nothing, you hear me? That's how you know someone's tough. Well, they're not missile-proof. Time to kill you with a missile. Oh, dear. Well, we're gonna get most of that bushwhacker. Right? Most of it. There's gonna be some of that bushwhacker. Like, not a lot, but enough. Yeah, get out of there. Get out of my mech. Come on. Large laser destroyed, engine critical. That guy would be punching out. Retreating how? You have to find brain cells to retreat, son. Now, there was that movie, The Core, and then there was its spiritual successor. What was it called? Geostorm. I saw that on a render night, and I wanted to scream the whole time. Look, Big Red, I'm gonna get 5% of that bushwhacker. That is a vintage periphery bushwhacker, sir. That is low miles. No low balls, I know what I got. Alright. Oh, no. Destroy the first Kittery Borderers support lance. Okay. Now I can get to the evac zone, which is up there. There's some enemy forces coming in, and it looks like we have unknown mechs with some meascles. And I don't mind. I'm gonna take what I can. But Irby's gonna go in here and start boxing. Nope. The core was good bad. Geostorm was bad bad. That was a movie where Mike and I just open mouth. We're just like, oh. We really wanna do at some point a list of like all the really bad films we've watched while rendering. Because our render night films and the collection of films we watch while rendering are bad. There's some really bad film. I mean, the worst one ever that I watched all the way through was the Mackie. When we did the Mackie episode, we watched, it was The Perfect Weapon with Steven Seagal. And in this movie, the whole movie is shot in a hotel. I mean, it's shot outside the hotel, it's shot in the basement of the hotel, it's shot in the loading dock of the hotel, it's shot in the penthouse of the hotel. The CGI is worse than we can do for an action film. Actually, Mike, I think we could probably have done better than The Perfect Weapon, especially at the end with a helicopter. When the body double comes out, I'm not ruining it for you guys, don't worry. But when the body double comes out and the jet helicopter and he gets in there and he's the body double, he's his own twin. And yeah, that part, I think we could do better. I think Nuke Dog could do better by himself in about a day. There is some really bad CGI in there. I definitely think they let Steven Seagal write his own dialogue. There's a lot of it. There's more than there should be. CGI was probably made at the hotel. Yeah, it's really an interesting film. By interesting, I mean, if you want to have a bad film night, The Perfect Weapon with Steven Seagal, like, go watch the trailer for it, and you will go, wow, it's like Cyberpunk 2077 if it was made in, like, 10 years ago with $4,000. It is really bad. You have at one point, like, panel trucks come up pretending to be SWAT vans. There's a few sword fights. At one point, they think they want to do that movie, Hitman, but it's not very good. There's a part where there's some Matrix stuff where a lady does cartwheels through a gunfight. Yeah, there's a lot of bad in that movie. Well, there's a whole part where he starts trying to, like, talk about sensuality and how to, like have a woman or something, and you ever see where some guy on Reddit goes like, you couldn't handle a real woman? It's like that. It's bad. It's real bad. It's like vitamin cringe. If you went out and there was like a pill bottle at a store that said like vitamin cringe, Perfect Weapon. It is like a DMPC that's written in. It's really, really bad. The ending negates the rest of the film, and it's absolute bonkers. Oh man, but yeah, there's Steven Seagal plays two characters. Yeah, Mike, can you find the trailer for that film, please? The Perfect Weapon? Yeah, just like post that trailer. Let people have it. And why is the chat box so slow with 1,000 people in here? Well, Moochie Jr., the reason is because I've told people quite a few times that I quite easily get quite frequently overwhelmed by large groups of people shouting and yelling and saying all sorts of stuff. So people have been relatively nice, and this is a Tuesday night stream, and it's about coziness and comfort and relaxing, and it doesn't have to be high energy. In fact, if I had a whole playlist of easygoing jazz, I'd be playing that in the background right now. Just chilling out with jazz on Tuesday night. Nothing too big. I might do that one of these nights. I might get some a whole soundtrack of like 2 or 3 hours of easygoing jazz for you guys to enjoy. Oh yeah. All right, click that, ladies and gentlemen. That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. Is one of those two characters thin? No. In fact, they dress and act and talk alike and have similar motivations. They're doubles in every way. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I just watch that movie, and I'll wait. I'll just wait. I will just wait. You watch that trailer right there, and I'll wait. I'm not a Kenny G guy, no. More of a Miles Davis, Charlie Parker, John Coltrane kind of guy. All right, so here we go. I'm just telling you, that movie, holy shit. If you can sit through that whole film, if you can sit through that whole film, you have a very strong spine. It's as bad as a Neil Breen film, but Neil Breen knows he makes bad movies. He knows what he's doing. This is unintentional. All right, and don't worry about how things shrug off Arrow for us. I'll bring more of them. Dizzy Gillespie is always good. I always thought he was really, really good. I like Louis Armstrong as well. I'm also a Mozart and Beethoven guy. And Franz Schubert, of course. Johnny Cash. I listen to a lot of stuff. Johnny Cash would probably be my favorite singer-songwriter of all time, though. If I had to pick one, Johnny Cash. And as far as it is in that movie, it's not discount Vin Diesel or discount Jason Statham. Mike's presumption was that they were trying to make a Hitman-ish kind of movie without getting sued. So the first 20 minutes of the movie feel like a Hitman. Like someone was trying to make Hitman without Hitman. Like suit, tie, jacket, pistol, suppressed, killing high-level people, all of that's there, and you're like, whoa, this is like supposed to be Hitman, this bald person who's emotionless and is a trained killer and all these other things. And yeah, it's like Hitman was made very incompetently. It's amazing, though. Yeah, the chopper is really bad. It looks like something we did for like a joke in a video. If I needed to have like a joke or a gag, like, oh, I'm gonna get in the wacky copter, like I would use that. It's insane though. And believe me, Steven Seagal's parts in that are weird. They're like real weird. And it's great because you watch it with someone who makes film, and we'll just point out After Effects stuff and be like, oh yeah, we've got that one. We've got that muzzle flash. We've used that before. It was not a very expensively made film, but yeah, I find a lot of fun can be had in bad film. Now, if you need something that is really truly bad, like if you have friends that are like, oh, I'll watch anything, bring out Neil Breen. If you bring out Neil Breen, bring out, like, you know, Fateful, what is it, Twisted Pair, Fateful Findings, and just any Neil Breen film. You can find most of them for free on YouTube. Just get a Neil Breen film going, and you will find people will leave your house very quickly, or they will shut the fuck up about film. It's really great. Oh man, I just love Arrow 4. It's just bye. But I'm telling you, it is pretty fucking amazing to see what you can make with not a lot of money. Now, if you want to see like low budget film done right, one of my heroes in film is this guy by the name of Rudy Ray Moore, and he did a film by the name of Petey Wheatstraw, the Devil's Son-in-Law. He also did Dolomite, many other films. Made film with not a lot of money, put all of his friends in it, constantly put his friends in it instead of big-name actors or anything else, and basically did whatever the fuck he wanted. He also had some other hobbies. He invented rap. Busy guy in history. But yeah, Rudy Ray Moore, the man from Cleveland. People like him, people like Roger Corman, people like Count Scary, people like The Ghoul, you know, MST3K. My low-budget heroes in production. But yeah, Rudy, if you want to see why this guy is great, go watch a movie called Dolomite Is My Name, which is on Netflix, which is a biopic about him making his first movie. And it's pretty well done. And I know that, you know, some people love or hate or find various biopics distasteful. It's actually really well done and fairly accurate. And yes, Rudy Ray Moore invented rap. He's credited as the godfather of it. He made a lot of stuff. He's the guy who coined the phrase, bitch, are you for real? And Dolomite is my name and fucking up motherfuckers is my game. If you like people who talk with swag and swagger, Rudy Ray Moore is a person to study. He set the tone for the 70s. All right, let's do this. Ed Wood was somebody who, well, I think if Ed Wood made film in a modern era, he probably would be okay. I honestly do. I think if he was in an era of digital film, Ed Wood would like honestly be fine. He's just like, make this happen. They would have been able to do a lot of the stuff he was talking about now. Now, was he incompetent in many other ways? Yes. But I think it would have been fine. A lot of his other movies were just bonkers. And it's just, he didn't know what he was doing. Then again, not a lot of people did in low-budget film. If you were trying to shoot stuff outside the studio system, you just had to make stuff up. And that was just the way the cookie crumbled. Locust or Javelin? Javelin, die now. Let's go ahead and hit the torso because he fell down. And an arrow forward to a supine mech is bad times. So as soon as he gets up, he's going to find some vitamin dead and he'll be gone. So let's go over here. Oh man, here we go. And as far as a Battletech movie or show, I think that would be great, but I'm not sure how it could be done. Rotoscoping could be fine. I know Mike will tell you that rotoscoping, if done, can be done cheaply and well, but to do it right, it isn't. Now this person dies. That's what you get. See, if you fall down, I'm gonna hurt you first. Rules from life. Having himself a nap. Oh. Coming on out. Oh wow, you can see through the armor. That's not really a problem. Alright, what's this person? Oh, scimitar, huh? Well, guess what? Let's just go ahead and let you have some of those. I've seen Plan 9 from Outer Space about 100 times, and as far as 1950s shitball movies goes, it's not the worst of them. It gets a lot of shit. They say it's the worst movie of the era, but if you watch a lot of the, like, really bad matinee films of the 40s and 50s, it's one of them. It's not the worst, but it did get panned just because, well, Ed Wood. I think he was more of a victim of his time, to be honest. See, it's fun when you have your editor stand by. You're like, I'll say, that's right, Mike. And he'll just look over and go, Tex, that's wrong. But here's the reasons why you might be right under some lenses. And I'm like, thank you. And then I cry a little. Button press. Die. Yes. Engage enhanced imaging. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see. What are we going to do? Shadowhawk. Oh, wow. The Shadowhawk actually did things it does in the poster, which is hit things and hurt them. Frequently, this is not the case. All right, let's move Joseph J. Beeples, and we're going to move you down here. And one more of these. A little bit of that. Hi. Oh, wow. Mazel tov. Welcome to the end of your life. Yeah, take that, person with feelings. Fuck yeah, mission successful. Oh, man. Forbidden Planet, now, that's one of my favorites. Huge inspiration for Trek, too. That is a good one. There's a lot of good old sci-fi. If you want to see another great sci-fi film, Colossus, The Forbidden Project, that is a great sci-fi film for like AI takeover. Pre-Terminator sci-fi film for that. Really, really good film. So I would recommend that as well. And we have enough parts to get some of the Bushwhacker. Some of the Bushwhacker. Wow. So we're getting there. I don't know why the other guy kept the other piece, but, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, Forbidden Planet was really great. That's an excellent, like, big, scary universe film. And I absolutely think that'll be an absolute one to watch for you and your friends. Oh, The Black Hole by Disney as well, when Disney was like, we can make a Star Wars. All the pieces are right, but wrong when you put them together. Oh, man. We're having a good old fight. So, we are going to look into our mech bay, which is broken, and absolutely everything's busted, but it's fine. We have parts of most of the mechs we need. And, yeah, let's get into storage. Wow, we can make a Saladin? Neat. I'm going to sell it. Oh, yeah. I don't have any more available slots. We're getting there with some of the mechs, but ugh. How much to sell the whole thing? It's not worth anything. God damn it. That is the way it goes. All right. I'm just fine. We'll get there. But, at any rate, I just wanted to say, this is about where I'm going to end this stream for now, for this evening. I may stream on Thursday, depending, but there is the huge Kickstarter thing going out there, so you guys can check that out. But I may stream again on Thursday, and I may play some more of this, because we're working on Tex Talks Battletech. We're working on Tex Talks History. We have a lot of irons in the fire. Stay tuned, and thank you guys and gals for supporting. If you want to check out the Patreon, it is BPL Tex on Patreon. It is also in the link below, but no pressure. This isn't our job. We're not trying to tell everyone that, you know, you need to support this or that or what have you. Please spend your money how you will. And, of course, please make sure to take care of yourselves. Last thing you need to do is to pay some schmuck on the internet a lot of money just because he says so. All right. I think that'll about do for this week, so I will probably be back a little later in the week, but again, I'm not going to stream on a Friday or a Saturday night, probably on a Thursday. Thank you for all of your upvotes, thank you for your subscriptions, and thank you for checking back. Take care of one another, folks. Remember, you got one go-round. Let's be sweet. All right, later.